So I've spent the past 3 months in Bali looking to buy a villa with a budget of around $250,000. And after being here for this long, looking at dozens of properties, I have a lot that I've learned and a lot that I want to share. And if you saw my previous video, we looked at 6 villas with my real estate broker, Michael, where first up, we are going to look at an additional 4 properties here in the Canggu area. So guys, the journey continues to find a villa here in Bali, and I am back with Michael from Propertia. And since the last video, we did start looking at new locations. So right now we are in Tumbak Bayou, which is just north of the main road, but you're still about 8 minutes from the beach. But Michael, are you confident that over here we're gonna find some really nice already developed villas?
That's the thing, like we've moved a bit further out. As I told you before, it's a good hybrid villa, good for both rental but also living. This one is probably one of the best villas we're gonna see for 200,000 USD. Quality, design, really nice.
Michael is selling me on this, so let's check this place out. Now, this first villa was beautiful. I love the high ceilings in the living room with these massive windows and your own serene pool. I was a big fan of the layout, but thought the floor that they chose was quite interesting. Instead of a Bali villa, it gave it more of a cozy cabin vibe. And this villa is currently on sale in the Tumbak Bayou area for $193,000 with a 22.5-year leasehold. Then for villa number 2, this one might have been my favorite, since it's the only villa I've looked at where it's been a one of a kind. Since all the other ones, there were multiple of the exact same unit being sold. It was also on the largest plot of land compared to the others, and in the area of Tumbak Bayou, which had a decent sized pool, and then inside had a lot of attention to detail where the designer clearly put a bit more thought into the property. And this villa is a 2-bedroom with a 34-year leasehold and currently on the market for $235,000. Arguably the best deal we've seen so far. So if you guys saw the part 1 version of this villa hunting video, there were a lot of questions and comments and concerns. So I wanted to ask Michael some questions to see if we can get some deeper knowledge and learn more about this Bali villa hunting process. So Michael, first question for you. Who do you think buying one of these Bali villas is for?
Many of the ones we've seen are either off plan or these smaller units, part of a complex. I think it's ideal for investors or one like you, Brett, that comes into Bali for some months, then leaves again, because the return is really good on most of them we've seen. For you to stay here, it's also convenient, right? With these locations.
Another big comment was, what happens when you buy a 25-year leasehold and that 25 years is up? Who gets the villa? Does a Balinese rice farmer get to move in and have a dope villa, or does it just get destroyed?
It's actually probably the most frequent question I get. 95% of the time in a lease agreement that is made, in this case between the developer and the local landowner, there is an extension agreement. It can be 10 years, pre-agreed price, an option to extend at any time, but you're asking about after. So if you don't extend, the land plus villa goes back to the landowner.
That's why I think people need to be very careful what is in that land agreement contract, because I didn't know this before I got here. I saw on some of the leasehold agreements that it says the option to extend, and I thought that meant I have the option if I want to, but also the landowner has the option, so you both have to agree upon it, right?
Yeah.
Another question is, as far as with buying a villa, potentially wanting to resell it. Let's say you get a 32-year leasehold, like one of the places we saw in part 1, and I wanted to rent it out for 5 years. Then I have 27 years left on it, which is a good amount of years left on a place. It's not that common though to sell. A lot of people, you said, ride out the full 32 years in this case.
It's more of a rental income market than a capital gains market, I would say. So yeah, a passive income.
Yeah.
Bali's good for that.
I've asked this guy so many questions, like WhatsApp, we've FaceTimed, we've met so many times. So thank you so much for answering these questions.
Of course. Another thing that people actually usually ask about, and I think you got that question of owning a property, right? Yeah. Because we've been talking about leasing a property.
Yep.
You can never own it in your own name. You can own it through a PTPMA,
So essentially starting an Indonesian company.
Indonesian limited liability company.
That is something I didn't necessarily cover in the last one, was how there is a big difference between leasehold and freehold. So if you are someone that is looking to not only create passive income, but generational wealth and own land outright, then you guys do sell that as well.
Yeah.
And guys, I did want to say, Michael has been nothing but trustworthy and so helpful, knowledgeable with this villa hunt. So if you are looking for a villa, they are not compensating me in any ways. If you are looking for a villa or interested, hit up Michael. How can they contact you?
Thank you so much, Brett. Well, Instagram, but I'm kind of hard to find.
All right, we will put it right here.
Okay.
So, as you can see, this has been a very stressful process. And one of my life principles is to only make big life decisions when both logic and emotions align, but also make big life decisions when I am in a clear headspace, which is why it has become more and more apparent how critical it is to do meditation as well as therapy with BetterHelp. Since therapy has allowed me to have a more consistent, clear mindset instead of letting life events get into my head and negatively impact my business and my overall happiness. And I started doing therapy about 3 years ago now, and it was because I was going through a bad breakup and just felt like I needed professional help to talk to get me through that period of time. But then I realized how impactful it was on my life and my overall mental health that I continue to do it now, even as things in life are running smoothly. Or when you're stressed about buying a villa in Bali. Since not only do I find it important to prioritize my physical health with running and lifting, but also prioritize my mental health with doing an hour of therapy every other week with BetterHelp. BetterHelp is easy to start. All you have to do is just fill out a questionnaire and you will be matched with a therapist in as little as a couple days. You can also easily switch therapists at any time with no extra cost if it's not the right fit. If you are also someone that gets anxiety from bringing on big new projects or fitness goals or anything for that matter, then I do highly recommend trying out therapy for yourself with BetterHelp by going to betterhelp.com/BrettConti. I will also leave that link down below, and if you do use it, you will get 10% off your first month of therapy. The hunt for the perfect Bali villa continues, where this third villa is currently on the market for $245,000 with a 23-year leasehold in the area of Sese. Overall, it seems like a good build, with a private pool, nice living room area, and then an upstairs with 2 bedrooms. The bathrooms were also super nice, and one even had a tub. And I did really like all of the natural light this place gets, where you even had a decent view from the upstairs. So this villa that we are checking out is also here in Perernan, where we are. Here, Michael, you gotta get in this.
Yes, we've had this off-plan project for approximately a year. Now we are 2 weeks away from handover, if we find the buyer. 1 minute walk approximately from the beach, which is incredible, Lima Beach. We're 4 minutes off the main road of shelter, wrong gym, where you go, Brett. Yeah.
No, this is one of the most ideal locations as for myself, or if you are looking here as a digital nomad that works remotely, like this is the central hub you would want to be in. But now let's go see what it's all about. Then lastly, villa number 4 is a 2-bedroom that is currently on the market for $245,000 with a 25-year leasehold. The villa itself was fine and still being built, but I say your typical build here in Bali with a style that is very common. But my favorite part was that this villa did have a rooftop where you could even see the ocean if you looked closely. Not too bad. So, will I be buying a villa in Bali? Well, when going into a new business venture, I think it's mission critical to come up with all of the reasons why you shouldn't do it. For me, with this new Bali villa, the 5 top reasons I wanted to share with you guys. Just for anyone who is interested in buying a villa here in Bali, these are 5 important things that you should think of. So, number 1 is the leasehold. Since here in Bali as a foreigner, you can't technically own land. You can set up a company and do it freehold, which is a lot more money, but the most common way is leasehold, which is why all the villas that I've been looking at all have an expiration date, where it's anywhere from around 22 to around 35 years. And after that,
you don't really know what's gonna happen. The rice field owner can say he doesn't want to renew the land to you, and he could technically become the owner of your villa. Not saying that will happen, but it's a risk you have to be willing to take if you are going to get a leasehold villa here in Bali. So yeah, with knowing that, I realized that one of the reasons why I do want to start my real estate portfolio is to start building generational wealth. And with doing something like a leasehold, it's more short to mid-term profits and passive income instead of something that my future grandkids get to reap the benefits from. Also, it is so hot and humid, so sorry if it's a little foggy. So reason number 2 is no principal amount. And what I mean by that is, in my previous video, I showcased the difference in what you can make from 25 years in the stock market with $250,000, as well as what you can make with a $250,000 Bali villa. And a lot of you guys commented saying, Brett, you forgot about the principal amount of the Bali villa, meaning your original $250,000 investment. Since, like I just said in reason number 1, if you do rent it out for the 25 years that you have the leasehold, after that, you got nothing.
And it's gone.
What?
It's gone. It's all gone.
So it's not like if you bought a property back in America as an American where you would own it outright, and you do have that initial investment that would hopefully even appreciate over time. And technically, you can have a 25-year leasehold and then after 5 years, sell it with 20 years left. But this does go into my third reason, which is it's not very liquid. Since like Michael said earlier in this video, it's not common at all for people to buy, rent it out for a couple years, and sell it, since you do lose a lot of money. And I am gonna use American real estate as an example. So in our country, if you do buy a property for $250,000 and it appreciates to $280,000, you would only pay capital gains tax on that $30,000 difference. But here in Bali, it probably won't appreciate and rather depreciates. So let's say it went from $250,000 to now $200,000. You would still be paying taxes on the full $200,000. So it's not on the difference or capital gains or even depreciation, it's just on the full sale amount. So yeah, overall, I would say Bali villas are not very liquid. From my understanding, majority of people do let the full leasehold run out. So now, reason number 4 is that you do need to set up an Indonesian bank and Indonesian business. This isn't obvious, but I think it is a lot more complicated than I was expecting before coming out here, where there are also a lot more regulations and certifications on operating a business here as a foreigner. So again, it was something I was expecting, but it is something that does complicate things a lot more on top of everything else. Like if you do set up a business here as a foreigner, you are supposed to deposit 600,000 US dollars into that account. Supposedly that is a law that not many people do right now, but you never know who is going to be president and if they are going to start implying that, since that would be pretty sucky to have to deposit another $350,000 into this account. And now, reason number 5 is that there is already a surplus of 1 and 2 bedrooms here in Bali, and for very reasonable prices. Where even this one, we are doing at a daily rate and still is about $130 per night for a 2-bedroom villa. You also get this beautiful pool, your own private river, and all of this unobstructed view of the palm trees. And another pro to renting is that when something goes wrong, which is pretty inevitable that it will, you don't have to worry about it. So here in Bali, it is very common for the roofs to have leaking during rainy season. So if that happens, if there's plumbing issues, there's air conditioning issues like there is going on right now, you aren't the one that's liable, and the owner has to come and fix it. Speaking of, I really hope they fix that AC. It is hot as bull.
On top of having a surplus of affordable 1 and 2 bedroom villas, there are also plenty of incredibly unique and luxurious villas as well. This is the Bamboo Hotel here in Ubud, where it is just you surrounded by the jungle with a heated pool, hanging lounge nets, and you can even order a floating breakfast.
This may be my favorite stay yet here in Bali. And as you guys know, I am an Expedia ambassador, so if you guys do want to book this place for yourself, you will get 5% off if you use discount code BRETT. I will link it down below. Now, if you are looking to buy a villa here in Bali and you're watching this video, I'm not here to fully discourage you and tell you it's a stupid idea, because that's not true. This, for some people, is a very smart decision and will bring in some great passive income. There is some serious money to be had here. But as for me, it just doesn't make sense right now, so I am fully removing the idea of having a Bali villa, which has been in my brain for about 2 years, just fully removed. But I do want to say that I was so serious when I came out here. My plan was to not leave this island until I did get a Bali villa. And now here we are 3 months later, coming to the conclusion that it's just not for me. I did even liquidate some assets in order to buy this villa, since you do have to pay 100% up front, which if there was a point number 6, it would be, yeah, you have to pay 100% of the money all up front to buy a villa here, where there is an opportunity cost and I could have that capital working and gaining much better interest than here in a Bali villa. So I do plan to put some of that money back into the stock market and crypto where I had it, as well as even some extra funds into Belief Tea, which is my new tea company that I started a couple months ago. So still gonna put that money to work, but just not here into a villa. So that is going to be it for this video, but if you guys still do have any questions, you can comment them down below, reach out to Michael, and hopefully see if investing in Bali is the best fit for you. See you guys next week.